Hello and welcome to another Guardians of the Wiltshire video. I'm your host Dowie, and this week on Unported Legions, the Defenders of the Shire. The Shire has ever been a quiet and peaceful land, one inhabited by the Hobbits who tend to only bother with their own comings and goings and do not trouble themselves with the world of the big folk outside their borders. In fact, there are few in Middle-earth who even know of the Hobbits and the Shire's existence, and fewer still who have ever set foot there. Even whilst the other realms of Middle-earth were embroiled in war, the Shire remained unaware and apart from the battles outside their borders until the coming of the big chief to Bag End and the ruffians that followed in his stead, that is. The wizard Saruman had fallen from power following his defeat at the hands of the Ents, and he placed the blame solely on the halflings that had convinced Treebeard to wage war on Isengard, upon whom he sought to take revenge. Now going by the name of Sharkey, the Shire had soon fallen under his control, and the hobbits that lived there were forced to work hard labour, give up the majority of their produce, and pay extortionate taxes to the chief residing in Bag End. For months the Shire became a place of fear, patrolled by bands of ruffians who would not hesitate to beat up any who spoke out against their master, and drag them to the lockholes for imprisonment. Yet the return of Frodo and his companions would bring with it something the Shire had not had in months: hope. As the scouring of the Shire builds to its final conclusion, hobbits were rallied together by Merry and Pippin. The small bands of rebels that had dared to oppose the chief joined with the travellers, and Merry begins hatching a plan to bringing an end to Sharkey's tyranny. Though the Shire has rarely seen war, is about to be plunged into the greatest battle in its history. After that synopsis, we'll go straight into the army composition. So, the heroes, which there are many. You have Frodo of the Nine Fingers. He can take an elven cloak and a pony. You have Samwise the Brave, he can take an elven cloak and a pony. Meriadoc, Captain of the Shire, he can take an elven cloak, a pony, or a shield. Peregrine, Captain of the Shire, he can take an elven cloak, a pony, and a shield. Then you have Paladin Took, you have Farmer Maggot, Lobelia Sackville Baggins, Fredegar Bolger, Farmer Tolman Cotton, Rosie Cotton, Will Whitfoot, Mayor of Hobbiton, Holfoot Bracegirdle, Sheriff Leader, Robin Smallborough, Hobbit Sheriff, Hamfast Gaffer Gamgee, Folko Boffin, and Boldo Tollpenny. So, loads of heroes. All do various things. And then your warriors, you've got Hobbit Militia, you have Hobbit Archers, who can take a warhorn, and you have Hobbit Sheriffs. So, a vast array of heroes, all with different little special rules. Definitely worthwhile, and this video has taken me a little while to kind of figure out the hierarchy of heroes. And kind of just bog standard hobbits as your fighting force. They're not an army, so the warriors are just standard hobbits who are there trying to help out. So your additional rules. A Defenders of the Shire force must always include Meriadoc, Captain of the Shire, and Peregrine, Captain of the Shire. Meriadoc must always be the army's leader. Hobbit Militia in Merry's warband must be upgraded to battling brandybucks, and Hobbit Archers in Pippin's warband must be upgraded to Tookish Hunters. So this is, they've got that option in their profiles, but it states you must do this. Apart from that, it's very thematic on the book. Merry leads the forces, so that's fine. So, special rules. Fear, fire, foes. As Sharkey's dominance over the Shire has grown, all the hobbits have had to find more discreet routes between villages and become quite adept at finding shortcuts. Friendly hobbit models gain the woodland creature special rule. So this pulls over from the Shire army list. Heroes of the Shire. The events in the Shire have really allowed Merry and Pippin to come into their own, and they have inspired all of the hobbits around them to follow them in taking back their home. Friendly hobbit hero models may benefit from the standfast of Merry. That's good. So if Merry's still alive and you're broken, you can kind of chain up the standfasts, or at least chain them up a little bit wider. Lying in wait. Though not natural fighters, hobbits are cunning and will often lay a series of traps for their foes to fall victim to. After both sides have deployed, but before the first turn of the game begins, a player using a Defenders of a Shire force may place 8 trap markers on the board, 2 each of Snare Trap, Tripwire Trap, Pitfall Trap and Dummy Trap, as following the rules given on page 64 of Scanning of the Shire. And the last special rule, Ambush. Using their small stature and cunning minds, hobbits can hide in the undergrowth before ambushing their foes. At the start of the game, before any models are deployed, you may select a single warband led by a hobbit hero. That is not Frodo, Sam, Merry or Pippin. That warband is ambushing and does not deploy as normal on the board as normal. Instead, once both players have completed their third move phase, the ambushing warband must choose one of the following. Move onto the board from any board edge via the rules for reinforcements, such as Maelstrom and Recon, or deploy in or within 1 inch of a wood, building, rocky outcrop, or similar piece of terrain that hobbits could hide in. The degree of common sense is required when deciding which pieces of terrain the hobbits can ambush from. Hobbits shouldn't be leaping out from behind a single rock or from a river. It is best to decide with your opponent before the game which pieces of terrain your hobbits can ambush from. Models deployed in this way may not be placed within the control zones of any enemy models. Models that enter the board in this way cannot move any further that turn and count as having moved half of their move allowance for the purposes of shooting. So some really cool special rules. The traps are excellent, especially if you team them up with Baldo the Tallpenny, which you'll see in a bit. So you can take 16 traps, which is amazing. And the ambush special rule is really, really cool and could be really useful as you've got quite a very slow moving force. So designer's notes. This legendary legion represents the hobbits that fought against Sharkey's regime in their attempt to free the Shire from his tyranny. Whilst many hobbit heroes resisted the rule of the chief, it wasn't until the return of the four travellers that the fortunes of the hobbits began to improve. The Battle of Bywater is arguably the defining moment for both Merry and Pippin, the former slaying the leader of the ruffian forces himself. It is for that reason that both Merry and Pippin must be included in the force. In the books, Merry lays out plans to engage ruffian forces at Bywater, but sets about organising a series of blockades and traps to aid the hobbits in the battle ahead. We have represented this by allowing a hobbit player to place a selection of trap markers that can be used to disrupt enemy plans. So all in all, quite a cool looking Legendary Legion to start with, and it's definitely one that is really themed. You're going to get a hell of a lot of models in because they're hobbits and they're very cheap, and their heroes are very cheap as well. So we'll come back in with the hierarchy of heroes next. Discussed earlier with the very cheap heroes, this proved to be quite difficult with the hierarchy of heroes. So here are some kind of ideas I've got about what I think kind of the order of the heroes will be. So we'll go at 450, 600 and 750 points as usual, and we'll dive straight in at 450. So you have to take Merry and Pippin. Next I would take Farmer Maggot. His 3 dogs are really, really useful for getting objectives, running off the board in recon, that kind of thing. Their movement is twice as fast as standard hobbits. So next, I've kind of gone down 2 different paths. So the first path is Frodo, Sam and Rosie. So that's when you're going for a real traveller-heavy, you want your 4 fellowship hobbits there. And then the other route is Baldo Tallpenny, Will Whitfoot, and then Holfoot Bracegirdle. So Baldo is for your extra traps, Will Whitfoot's for your banner effect, which is why him and Frodo are on different sides of the hierarchy, And then Wholefoot means you've got a bit more killing power with your sheriffs, whereas the other route has Sam with his extra attacks from Rosie. I don't think you really want many more heroes at 450 points. I think ideally you want to be outnumbering your opponent kind of 2 to 1, because you've only got Hobbits and you've not got any spear supports or anything like that. So that, in my mind, I was going for a kind of a 2 to 1 to what I would normally take at 450 points. So 600 points. Again, you have Merry and Pippin. Then I take Frodo. Then I would take Frodo, I should say. It's not an army I've got really, or even painted. I would take Frodo for his banner effect. Yes, he won't be attacking or anything like that, but his banner effect will be really, really helpful when you're essentially, if you come up against a shield wall, you'll be outnumbered already with dice in the combat. Next, I would take Farmer Maggot for his dogs, etc. again. Then kind of splits out a little bit. You can either take Baldo Tolpenny and Wholefoot Bracegirdle for their sheriffs and the traps, like I said, at 450, or you take Sam and Rosie for a bit more killing power and extra heroic strike. It's entirely up to you. I think after that you can take Hamfast for his flowers and the ability to reroll ones. You take Folco to bolster Frodo, and then you could take Will Whitfoot for another banner if you really wanted. I don't necessarily think that there are other heroes you could drop in after that, but I still think you want that kind of double model count, which you'll see more in the army lists. So then 750 points. This is just pretty much all the heroes. So my kind of order is Merry and Pippin, obviously. Then you have Frodo, Sam, Rosie, then Farmer Maggot, Baldo Tallpenny, Wholefoot Bracegirdle, Hamfast Gamgee, Folco, I think he's got a surname, Boffin, Folco Boffin, Paladin Took, Farmer Tolman, Will Whitfoot, Robin Smallborough. I've kind of gone down that route because they all offer something to the list, to a list you're building. So your Farmer Maggot's got his dogs, Baldo's got the traps, Wholefoot's got your kind of two-handed sheriffs with no penalty, Hamfast has got the flowers, Folco can give Frodo the free hero moves, Paladin has got a big standfast if I remember correctly, Farmer Tolman's got an extra bit of might, Will Whitfoot's got another banner, and Robin Smallborough's got a reinforcement, but it's only for his warband, which is why he's right near the bottom. Fatty Bolger, don't think's needed, and Lobelia I don't think's needed, and also it kind of fits against the theme of this list. So we'll come straight back in with the army lists next. Army list time. Right, this is going to be a lot of models. Even at 450 points, it's bigger than most 750 point lists I've written for this series. Other than that, we'll just crack straight in. So 450 points, I've got Merry with a pony and a shield. The pony's for extra movement, doesn't necessarily give you anything more than that. 6 battling Brandybucks. And then Warband 2 is Pippin with a pony and a shield and 7 militia. Warband 3 is Baldo Tallpenny with 11 Hobbit archers. Warband 4 is Farmer Maggot, his 3 dogs and 6 militia. Warband 5 is Wholefoot Bracegirdle and 6 sheriffs. And Warband 6 is Will Whitfoot and 7 Hobbit militia. So this has 52 models, 2 mounted hobbits, that should say, and 3 dogs. For objectives, you've got Will Whitfoot's banner effect that he can give. You've got 11 bows. All bar the dogs have the ability to throw stones, and Baldo's got additional stone actions. You have 7 might. You have 2 heroic strikes, 3 heroic marches. You have extra strength 3 troops with the battling Brandybucks, which is pretty useful. Give them access and go to strength 4 with piercing strike. You've got extra traps from Boldo's Tallpenny, and Wholefoot can enable your sheriffs to go two-handed without penalty. So overall, pretty good list. You're going to suffer with movement, etc., like all Hobbit armies do, but I think you've got enough models to really cause problems. I'll say this now, because I've done it in all my lists. I don't include Tookish Hunters at all. I think that your archers aren't necessarily going to weigh in on the battle, so the fight 3 is not necessarily going to be that important, and you're going to be outnumbering people a lot anyway, so the idea is to try and wrap around as quickly as possible, create your traps, win those fights. If you need to bash, piercing strike, all the fun stuff, and try to cut up that way, I don't think the fight 3 archers are worth it. So 600 points. We have Merry with a pony and a shield, 6 battling brandybucks, Pippin with a pony and a shield, 7 Hobbit militia, Frodo with a pony, 7 Hobbit militia, Farmer Maggot is 3 dogs, 6 Hobbit militia, Baldo Tallpenny, 8 Hobbit archers, Wholefoot Bracegirdle, 8 Hobbit sheriffs. You have Hamfast Gamgee with 8 Hobbit archers, and Folko Boffin with 6 Hobbit militia. So this works at 67 models, if I'm correct. 3 mounted hobbits and 3 dogs for objectives. You have Frodo's banner effect on a bigger base because he's on a pony. You've got 17 bows. All bar the dogs have the ability to throw stones, and Baldo's got his additional actions. You have 9 might, with Frodo being able to get 3 heroic moves while he's within 3 inches of Folko Boffin using his will. 2 heroic strikes, 3 heroic marches. You have extra strength 3 troops with the battling brandybucks. You have extra traps from Baldo Tallpenny. Hobbit sheriffs are able to go two-handed close to Wholefoot. And Hamfast's flowers enable you to reroll 1s within 3 inches of them. So again, strong list, lots going on. Lots of models. It's about double what I would generally take at 600, but they're hobbits and they die really, really quickly. You've got enough bows to threaten at range. All in all, I think there's enough there to keep you going. So it's 750 points. We'll sort this out again, and you go with Merry with a pony and a shield, 7 battling brandybucks. Then you have Pippin with a pony and a shield, 6 Hobbit militia. Frodo with a pony, 6 Hobbit militia. Samwise with a pony, Rosie, 6 Hobbit militia. Farmer Maggot and 3 dogs, 5 Hobbit militia. Baldo Tallpenny, 10 Hobbit archers. Wholefoot Bracegirdle, 9 sheriffs. Paladin Took, 10 archers. Hamfast Gamgee, 6 militia. Folko Boffin, 6 militia. So this is 85 models. You've got all 4 of the mounted hobbits and 3 dogs for objectives. You've got Frodo with his banner effect on a bigger base, so therefore affects more. You have 20 bows. Then all bar the dogs have the ability to throw stones. And Baldo's got his additional stone throwing actions. You've got 12 might, which doesn't seem like a lot as you've got a lot of heroes, but a lot of them are 1 might. And then you've got Frodo with his 3 heroic moves within 3 inches of Folko Boffin. You've got 3 heroic strikes, 3 heroic marches, 3 heroic combats with Sam within 4 inches of Rosie, and then within 6 he gets his additional attack. You've got extra strength 3 troops with battling brandybucks. You've got extra traps from Baldo Tallpenny. Wholefoot Bracegirdle enables sheriffs to go two-handed without penalty, and Hamfast's flowers enable rerolls of 1s to wound within 3 inches, and Paladin Took's got a big standfast. So, take a breath. So, I think this has a lot of capability to do well. You probably don't see it because A, it's a lot of models to paint, and B, it's probably quite expensive because it's hobbits and they only come in packs of 4. I think it worked well. The fact you've only got 3 models with heroic strike's a bit of a problem, and nothing higher than fight 3 maybe, I think, maybe fight 4. I think it's fight 3. So you're going to struggle with monsters. You're going to struggle with big heroes who are going to cut swathes through you. But I think the aim is to just chuck as many models in and hope they fluff a roll. They should do eventually. So from there you can just grind down your opponents. You do suffer from no spears, but I think it's a really cool theme force. It's really nice to see. It's definitely, again, it's like all of these legions, it's one I want to do in the future. I have some Hobbits, nowhere near that many, but I might get a few more when I come around to doing the Scouring of the Shire scenarios. So if you've liked this video, please comment, like, share and subscribe. I know the hierarchy of heroes is a bit all over the place, but there is a lot of heroes in here. And you can build them. You can build the list in so many different ways. That's just kind of my thoughts on how I would build a list. So yeah, if you've liked this video, please comment, like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.